time for your open enrollment period and getting more information on the options that you have, and also signing up, of course, to keep yourself and your healthcare in check here in the US and especially right here in Michigan. Joining us to talk about that and more now is Elizabeth Robinson, Medicare Outreach Developer at HAP Medicare Sales and Outreach. Elizabeth, thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Tyler. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, good to have you on as well. So this is the beginning of a Medicare open enrollment period. There's plenty of options out there for many people, but I don't think there's quite wide knowledge of what an open enrollment period is. For so many people, their insurance might be through their employer and they may already have that established at this time, but employment changes, people move, circumstances change, people retire, and at some point, many end up having to take their insurance situation into their own hands. So tell us about what an open enrollment period is and why that's necessary for insurers.
Sure. So, all different types of insurance have an enrollment period that happens annually, and that's what's commonly referred to as open enrollment. So, whether you have an individual and family plan like under the Affordable Care Act, or whether you have an employer based plan that's given to you as a full time employee or your spouse is an employee, and that's a full time benefit as that employer gives that to you, or whether or not you have Medicare, there's always a time every year where you get the chance to reevaluate what you have and compare to what's also being offered to you and make a change or re-enroll for the next year, for the next 12-month period. For many employer groups, for the individual market and for Medicare market, that happens on a calendar year basis. So right now we are in the middle of the annual enrollment period for Medicare. A lot of people refer to it as open enrollment. It kind of means the same thing for most people. That runs from October 15th through December 7th of every year. And this is the time where everyone who currently has Medicare is encouraged to reshop and reevaluate what they have versus what's available to them to see if they want to make a change for the next year. So any enrollment or any changes that take place at this time between now and December 7th, literally 11:59 p.m. on December 7th, is what will stand in Medicare system for their enrollment for next year's coverage.
More information can be found from HAP on the website hap.org. Hap.org for more information, Medicare, individual and family plans, insurance through your employer, as well as Medicaid and the Michigan Health Link as well. Hap.org for
Mhm.
all of that information. And so we talk about having all these different options for our healthcare, and during this open enrollment period, it's a great time to explore some of those options and maybe exercise one of those options with HAP or with another healthcare provider as well. From your organization's perspective, what work goes into working with individuals, with families, with employers on which plans are best suited for their situations and their needs?
Absolutely. I cannot stress enough, especially in the Medicare market and the individual market, for people who are looking to make their own choices, their own selections about their healthcare, as opposed to what's being offered to them by the employer, because that usually limits the amount of choices that you have. When you are working as an individual, you have the entire market to choose from, and it can be daunting and really confusing and somewhat overwhelming to kind of compare everything and be able to whittle it down to what best fits your needs. I cannot stress enough the importance of finding a trusted local agent to work with. HAP has many agents in the area that we work with that are trusted, that we recommend working with and can refer out to. We also have a department of agents internally that can answer questions when you call our lines, whether that's again on the individual market or in the Medicare market. So we're here to answer questions for you, but we're also here to make an introduction to a local agent. I cannot stress enough how important it is to not fall victim to the really heavy marketing that happens, because it's such a competitive market, especially for Medicare. There's a lot of really aggressive advertising and marketing that happens at this time of year, especially with all of the commercials that you see on TV and, hey, call this number and get free this and free that. It can be really enticing, but the people that are answering those phone calls when someone sees that commercial and calls that phone number, they're getting someone on the other line whose job it is to move that person to the plan that they are selling. So it's really important to work with an agent who can help you look at what's important to you, what your needs are, and fit the right plan to those needs.
What should people be considering, Elizabeth, as they're going through this enrollment period, as they're exploring their options with providers like you or other healthcare providers? And what questions really should they be asking to really determine if this plan or that plan, if this provider or that provider is actually what's best for myself, for my family, for my employees?
That's a really great question. And there are some really specific questions that every person as an individual that you should be thinking of ahead of time before you walk into a conversation, whether it be with a carrier, whether it be with an agent, or whether you do the research online yourself by going to the different carriers' websites and looking at things, or if you go to Medicare.gov and look at all of the plans that are available to you in your area because they're all listed there, or that if you go to the marketplace, if you're in the individual market, there are certain questions that you definitely want to take a look at. You want to make sure that the doctors and the health systems that you want access to are in network for the plan that you are selecting. There's different types of networks, there's different types of plans that are available. So you want to make sure that you're choosing the plan that gives you access to the providers and facilities that you want. Also, to take in mind whether or not you travel and want coverage outside of the area where you live. So taking into the network is really important. The next thing you want to really take a look at is your prescription coverage. You want to make sure that the prescriptions that you take and that you need are covered on the plan that you are looking at. Especially in the Medicare market, formulary lists can change from year to year. They can even change within the year. So there can be that movement, and you want to make sure that not only is it covered, but am I getting the best out of pocket rate for those prescriptions. So you want to be able to compare your prescriptions on one plan to another. Another thing that's really important is you want to take a look at, is it important to you to have dental coverage, to have vision or hearing coverage, those added value benefits that come along with some of the individual market plans? You want to make sure that you're taking a look at that and taking that into consideration as far as the whole package goes. The other thing that I would really stress too is keep in mind whether or not you have any changes in your health or health care needs that you know that you can anticipate in the next year. So someone who might say, you know what, I've been putting this off, but I need to have a joint replacement. I really need to have that done in the next year. Or I just got a new diagnosis of something, and so now I have to go through treatment. Or I know that my health is deteriorating in this way, so I'm expecting that I'm going to have to deal with that with either treatment or surgery or something to that extent. So taking into account those changes that might be coming into play for you as well, that can really change how much out of pocket experience you have, how much you have to pay out of your pocket for your medical services during the calendar year. So that could impact choosing a plan that has a higher or a lower out of pocket maximum, or higher or lower copays for physical therapy, or something along those lines. So taking into account those questions, the network, the prescriptions, the added value benefits, and any upcoming changes to your medical status that you know that you can anticipate, those are really going to help guide you in making the right decisions about what's going to fit your needs for the next year.
We're joined by Elizabeth Robinson, Medicare Outreach Developer at HAP Medicare Sales and Outreach on today's edition of the Megacast. As always, you can find more information from HAP and get in contact with their team there at hap.org. Hap.org for more information and to get in contact with all the individuals over at their organization. You can also give them a call for provider inquiries, 866-766-4661. That's 866-766-4661 as well. Elizabeth, before we let you go, anything else that people should be considering right now at this time as they're entering the open enrollment period, as they're considering maybe changing their insurance or getting new insurance due to a life change of some sort?
Sure. I would just really warn you, be careful of the aggressive marketing that you see. Try not to answer unsolicited phone calls. And again, I cannot stress enough the importance of working with a trusted agent. We have many that we can recommend in the area, so we'd be happy to make that connection for you. Um, Calling the carriers directly is also a really great resource. So calling HAP and seeing how we can answer the questions that you have about your situation. Like I said, we have staff that can handle questions on the individual market as well as the Medicare market. You would have to go to my Michigan, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling with my words. HealthLink, Michigan HealthLink for the Medicaid side of life, but we do have a whole variety of plans that are available. If you are an employer and looking at considering different options for next year, we do have an entire great staff of account managers who can connect with you also. So we've really got any form of healthcare we've got you covered, with options that can really bring value to your benefit structure. So it's just a matter of comparing that with what you have versus what else is available in the market. So we're happy to help, and please be careful of the ads that are out there.
HAP.org for more information to get in contact with Elizabeth and the team at Health Alliance Plan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's been great to be here, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful holiday season.